maybe I will start with the issue of subsidy first. This has been a very, very serious issue, or issue that has been so much talked of. And it was maybe a motion without movement. It was just a talk show, and then, government didn't have the political will to address the problem. I was privileged to serve as the chairman of the subcommittee 2008 and 2009 on the economic meltdown. I was one of the members, 3 of us governors and some other members with Mr. President as chairman. So I chaired the committee on subsidy, and everything about the subsidy regime, and then the scam in the subsidy regime was discovered by my committee. And of course, since then, recommendations were made, which unfortunately were never implemented, and it's very sad. I'm sad to let Nigerians know that from what I saw, we came across situations where subsidy was claimed on pipelines that never existed. We just claimed that they have pumped X amount of, either finished products or crude, maybe from Kaduna, from Warri to Kaduna.
By NNPC? Making this claim?
Of course, who else is doing it?
Oh dear.
Those that pump and those that are in the subsidy scam, they just fill papers, invoices, and they claim subsidy on it. In fact, there was an instance of a pipeline that was supposed to exist between Lagos and Warri. And tons of monies were collected on subsidy on a pipeline that never existed. This is Nigeria for you.
But I thought they were telling us that it is marketers and some other persons who are perpetrating the fraud. So NNPC is involved?
They are all involved in these things, all of them. Oh. All of them. And I must sadly also report that, you see, Nigeria subsidy, if it's that part of it that is actually goes for the subsidy, we go on subsidizing sub-Saharan Africa and Central Africa, because the bulk of these products are smuggled out of this country. Then who is subsidizing who?
Wait, that report that you spoke about NNPC, all of them being involved, was it submitted to the government?
Of course it was.
Government knows about this?
Of course, yes, they do. And attempts were made, but I'm telling you, it can be very frustrating in Nigeria to implement policies, especially where there are interest and a cabal that exists. It's just similar to what you have as this bunkering issue. Something not, it can be stopped, but you can't stop it. It can be stopped, but the political will to stop it is not there. There are so many interests that are involved there. And that's what is leading Nigeria to where we are today. That at a point in time during the Jonathan regime, I know we hardly were pumping up to 1 million barrels a day. And the prices kept crashing. Then how do you manage the economy that is dependent on oil? So the subsidy regime, like I said, should have gone way back in 2012, 2013. Should have gone. Any person that is shouting subsidies are going to affect that, this is a selfish person. A person who is connected to the scammers that are killing this country.
What you've said.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. The video you saw is that of Yuguda, former Minister of Aviation, former Governor of Bauchi State. He released a lot of information in that interview. But, you know, one of the things about these APC chieftains is that they exhibit serious hypocrisy when they pontificate about some issues in the country. Yoguda himself, who is all over the place talking about the fact that he was part of a committee that found out that fuel subsidy was a scam, what did he do when President Goodluck Jonathan, wanted to remove fuel subsidy forever and save this country from the problem it is facing today? Is there any record of Esai Yuguda coming out to support Goodluck Jonathan, to support the fuel subsidy being removed? They were all playing politics. It was to them politics. Now he is wondering why, since 2009, when they discovered that subsidy was a scam, nothing was done about it. He was talking about political will. What did he do? Esai Yuguda. He is a chieftain of APC. Buhari was in power for 8 years. During the campaign trail in 2014, 2015, Buhari was all over the place saying that fuel subsidy is a scam. But when he entered as president of Nigeria, he was still paying fuel subsidy. So who is fooling who? The truth of the matter is that fuel subsidy has become a playground for Nigerian politicians, not the least of which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself. He is one of the people that played serious politics with fuel subsidy removal in 2012. Today, he is sort of taking credit that he has reinvented the wheel by the removal of fuel subsidy under his regime. But far back in 2012, Aswaju know that it was wrong to continue to sustain the fuel subsidy. But he did everything under the sun to make sure that Jonathan does not remove the fuel subsidy. And it was believed that he was among the sponsors of the protests that heralded the protests against fuel subsidy removal in 2012. You saw Esai Yuguda saying that he would have loved that this thing could have been removed since 2012. But it was never removed. It was never removed at all. No effort was made to remove it. But it would have been better for this country if the subsidy was removed in 2012. So who are the people that sabotaged the removal of fuel subsidy in 2012 and are now claiming to be heroes of fuel subsidy removal? This is how they used to hoodwink Nigerians, because Nigerians don't know their history. But people like us are here to remind us that don't get carried away with what these people are saying now. These people are politicians who are not interested in the welfare of Nigerians, no matter their present pretensions to the contrary. Okay? Esai Yuguda did nothing. There was no evidence of where he was able to press Buhari for the past 8 years to remove the subsidy. Now he is presenting himself in alignment with Tinubu, who was also one of those who sabotaged fuel subsidy removal in 2012. You know, it is a well-known fact that in January 2012, when President Goodluck Jonathan administration announced the deregulation of the downstream sector, otherwise known as fuel subsidy removal, the same people who opposed the government of Goodluck Jonathan on this fuel subsidy and organized protests at Ojota in Lagos Abuja, Mina, Ilorin, and in other parts of the country, even in London. They are the same people who have now since returned to the same original argument about the non-sustainability of the subsidy regime. When they wanted power, they whipped up sentiments against Goodluck Jonathan. At Ojota in Lagos, they carried coffins. They portrayed Jonathan in a derogatory manner. They danced, wore t-shirts, and they did all kinds of things. And they call it Occupy Nigeria. Nigeria Labour Congress backed them. The Trade Union Congress backed them. It was an unprecedented protest. If that fuel subsidy was removed at that time, today we will not be talking about it. Perhaps today Nigeria's economy would have taken shape, but they sabotaged it because of politics, because they want to grab power. They wanted Jonathan to look bad. They wanted to use fuel subsidy to blackmail Jonathan. And indeed, they succeeded because there were indications that fuel subsidy removal and the protest that accompanied it was the beginning of the end of the Jonathan administration. That was where the Jonathan lost the goodwill which brought it to power in 2011. By 2012, these people, led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had instigated Nigerians against Goodluck Jonathan. Okay? Now, the then Minister of, the Coordinating Minister of the Economy and Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who is now the Director General of the World Trade Organization, was so incensed about the whole thing that she threatened that she will resign if Jonathan was to go back to his words about the removal of the subsidy. The CBN governor at the time, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, was one of the most outspoken defenders of the proposal that subsidy should be removed. The Jonathan administration had proposed 120% increase in the price of petrol. Hell was let loose. In Ojota, speeches were made by civil society leaders, Pastor Tunde Bakare, Dr. Tunji Brightweight, and so many others. Many believe that 2012 Occupy Nigeria protest was a major cause of the Jonathan administration's early loss of goodwill. It was all politics, as they are still playing politics today. But ironically, the same people who turned the matter into partisan politics upon assumption of power in 2015, started by increasing fuel price from 87 naira per liter to 145 naira, later to 195 naira. And they met little or no resistance, indicating that the crisis of 2012 was indeed state managed. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu wrote an article at that period, which he titled "Removal of Oil Subsidy. President Jonathan Breaks Social Contract with the People" by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which was published on January 11, 2012. Now look at some of the things that Tinubu wrote, which was a clear indication that he was one of the sponsors of the protest against the removal of fuel subsidy. Today he's claiming to be a messiah of a sort who removed fuel subsidy to save Nigeria's economy. Nigeria's economy would not have been in a position to desire a savior if fuel subsidy removal was done by Jonathan and Aswaju did not sabotage that removal by sponsoring the protests, as alleged. And as he gave himself away in this article that he wrote, which I will read a excerpt for you to listen to. Now, this is what Tinubu wrote in 2012. He said, "I'm not calling President Jonathan an evil man." Now, before I continue reading this as well, the article of 2012. If you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. Now, this is let me read an excerpt. Let me continue with the excerpts that Tinubu wrote in 2012 against Jonathan removal for subsidy. He wrote, "I'm not calling President Jonathan an evil man. I do not believe he is perverse. However, the economic ideas controlling him are so misguided and that they have a perverse impact because he is slave to wrong-headed economists. The people will become enslaved to greater misery. This crisis will bear his name and will be his legacy." And that was exactly what they wanted. They wanted it to be his legacy. The man who removed subsidy so that people will suffer. That was the agenda. Let us continue. He said, "This crisis will bear his name and will be his legacy. The people now pay a steep tax for voting him into office. The removal of the subsidy is the Jonathan tax." The Jonathan tax, like paying tax. He said the removal of the subsidy is the Jonathan tax. I mean, the Jonathan was taxing the people. So when people will accept it, it's a tax that they are paying because of Jonathan. This situation shows that ideas count more than personalities. People may occupy office, but how that person performs depends on the ideas that occupy his mind. He continued. He said, "Though someday Nigeria will have to remove the subsidy, the time to do it is not now." You can see, Tinubu in 2012 said that 2012 was not the right time to remove subsidy. But you listen to Isayuguda say 2012 is the best time to remove that. It would have been the best time to remove it, which means, for what Isayuguda is saying, that was the best timing for Nigeria. But as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his letter, which he published to demarcate Goodluck Jonathan at the time, was to say that that was not the right time to remove subsidy. He said, though someday Nigeria will have to remove the subsidy, the time to do it is not now. This subsidy removal is ill-timed and violates the condition precedent necessary before such a decision is made. Now you can see as Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2012, he was saying there's a condition that need to be met. Was that condition met before Tinubu removed his own in 2023? Let us continue. He said, first, government needs to clean up and throw away the salad of corruption in the NNPC. Did Tinubu throw away the corruption in NNPC before he announced the withdrawal of subsidy in 2023? Of course, he did not. NNPC is still as corrupt as it had always been. He didn't clean the Aegean stubble at NNPC. But in 2012, he was saying it that those are the conditions that need to be met before subsidy could be removed. In 2023, he didn't have his own conviction to pursue that path before removing the subsidy. So that to show you the hypocrisy of our politicians and our leaders, who some people are hailing to be some messiah of some sort, and are being called courageous leaders, for he has the courage to remove the fuel subsidy. But he sabotaged the fuel subsidy when it was to be removed in 2012. Could have been the best timing for its removal. By now, Nigerians would have been weaned of the impact of fuel subsidy, and our economy would have stabilized. But now we are having to deal with the shock of removal of fuel subsidy without any palliative or any measures to ameliorate what Nigerians are passing through because of the removal of the subsidy. So he said that this subsidy removal is ill-timed and violates the condition precedent necessary before such a decision is made. First, government needs to clean up and throw away the salad of corruption in the NNPC. Then proceed to lay the foundation for a mass transit system in the railways. Okay, he was saying that Jonathan should, for him to remove subsidy, he need to lay foundation for a mass transit system in the railways and good road networks with long-term bonds, and fully develop the energy sector towards revitalizing Nigeria's economy and easing the burden any subsidy removal may have on the people. Did Bola Ahmed Tinubu do any of these conditionalities he wrote in the piece in protest against Jonathan removing the fuel subsidy? He did none of such. He just announced it. And the prices of fuel and the price of fuel balloon to the skies. And Nigerians are feeling the pinch. Nigerians are suffering over it. So it is important that when you begin to, for those who are celebrating as Bola Ahmed for his courage, they should understand, they should go to the Google and search for his article in 2012. Go and search for this article and read it so that you know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is part of the problem that Esa Yuguda was talking about that had stopped the removal of fuel subsidy in Nigeria, because he has something to benefit from it politically, so that Jonathan will look bad, so that Jonathan will be rejected by the Nigerian people as a man who they voted for in 2011, who by 2012 want to punish them by subsidy removal. Now, subsidy removal by Asuwaju is not seen as punishment. It is seen as patriotism, as having the courage, a courageous leader. By the time Jonathan wanted to remove it, Jonathan was not a courageous leader. At least that's what Asuwaju meant by the letter he wrote. So you can go and look for that article by Bola Ahmed Tinubu in opposition to removal of fuel subsidy in 2012. And you now know that those who are leading today are the hypocrites of yesterday. And the title of the article is Removal of Oil Subsidy. President Jonathan breaks social contract with the people by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, January 11, 2012. Look for it and read, so that you don't get deceived like the rest of the people who have been deceived that Asuwaju is some sort of messiah, is some sort of courageous leader who removed subsidy when nobody had courage to do it. Jonathan had the courage to do it, but he was sabotaged. And Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was among those who sabotaged him by the records of what he wrote, by the statements that he made, by the alleged sponsoring of those protests at the time to ensure that Nigerians rejected the subsidy removal. So if there is any problem this country is facing today because of lack of removal or failure of the removal of fuel subsidy since 2012, Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be blamed for that. Yes, he should be blamed because he was at the center of those who sabotaged fuel subsidy removal in 2012. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. God bless you and yours.